All right. So we are currently rolling. So I'll go ahead and get started. But what's up, everybody? It's the poet, the artist, the creator, and energy curator, Drika Morning. I'm the Arts and Education Program Manager for the Arkansas Arts Council, and you are tuned in to Art on Arkansas, which is a bi-weekly artist interview where we interview artists from all across Arkansas. And today we are interviewing the Orlando Kendricks in honor of Poetry Month. He's recently released a new poetry book. So today we'll get to just explore his poetry and thoughts about art and education. And to anybody that's new to this webpage, the Arkansas Arts Council, we offer a lot of services for artists. So if you would like to see what we offer, you can visit our website at arkansasarts.org, arkansasarts.org, to see all the grants that we offer and the events as well. We have workshops to educate artists on different topics. So if you just follow this page, the Arkansas Arts Council's Facebook page, you can see more information about that as well. And while you're here, please bless somebody else by sharing this video. Like, comment, and as we go throughout this interview, if you have any questions or comments, please drop them below and I will read them as we go. So, can we get a drum roll, please? It'll have to come from me. So, hey Orlando, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm doing good. I feel good. I feel really energized. So I'm just glad to be alive and excited to just get into this interview. So to get started, I would like for you, if you could just introduce who you are, why you are, and just let the people know what it is that you do.
Okay, well, my name is Orlando Kendricks Sr. I am a poet, an artist from Little Rock, Arkansas, and I have a poetry novel titled The Rebellion of a Renaissance Man, a poetry novel, and that's a pretty quick introduction.
Okay, well, that was fast. See, I think a lot of people, we think so hard, oh my gosh, what should I tell you? It just get really long. But how did you get started in poetry?
To be completely honest, the movie Love Jones got me started writing poetry. It sounds random. I just love everything about that movie. It's like a huge poem put in a movie, but I just love the interactions and when he was on stage, I don't know, just listening to that poem he recited just had me like, I could do that. So ever since then, just, I don't know, it's just something just triggered, and I just been into poetry. Like, and I watched that movie like years ago. It felt like a decade now, and I still love the movie. And Love Jones definitely had me like, okay, I think I like poetry. I think I want to learn more, and that's what did it for me.
Okay, so with poetry, there's like slam poetry, and then you have some people who just like doing it for the art of it. So are you more of a competition slam poet, or are you more of like an open mic, hey, these are my thoughts and feelings, I just want to share them with you kind of poet?
I would definitely say I have the ability to like want to compete competitive, don't get me wrong, but open mic is definitely me. That's when I actually found out I should take poetry seriously, attending an open mic night one day at UAPB. It was this poem, Thou Had Thee at a Loss for Words, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. And it was like not last, but like a little late notice, but I was like, I was just eager to try it, see what people thought about it. I was so nervous, I like ran off stage afterwards, and I was hearing like applause, and it was like, okay, that's dope. So I would say I'm an open mic type of person because to me, it feels like it's just dying inside me if I don't get it out. Why I do not know, but honestly, my poetry it makes me want to share it with others. I don't want to keep it for myself. I want to see what other people think, hear their thoughts on it, and just share my perspective with my poetry. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
And I'm glad you said that you feel like it's something inside you that you just want to share. Growing up, I always thought, you know, when you get blessed with a gift to be able to articulate things on paper and share your story in a way that like affects the way people feel, like I think that's a gift. Like I think it's really like a superpower. So just to know that's a power, I've always believed that we can't keep our stories to ourselves. Our stories are not for us to keep to ourselves. We are supposed to share it.
I
So I'm
told
glad.
that.
Yeah, so I'm glad you had that moment. I think being on stage too can be, it's scary, but once you get the response, it's just like, oh wow, y'all like that? I should do this more.
That's,
Yes.
that's exactly how I felt. I was like nervous, but I said thank you after I recited it, and they gave me an applaud, and I was like, oh come on, is this something I need to be doing? But honestly, after that, I just started writing and writing and writing. Unfortunately, I lost the phone, one of my phones back then that had so much of my writing in it, and like I had to basically start over from scratch. So I know how that feels, but it's
Right.
still something in me saying, hey man, why? Like I was just asking God, hey, if this is something I'm meant to do, then just tell me. But it literally just comes out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
I'll be up at 4 a.m. just writing, just come with ideas that I've just woken up with. So
Right.
I feel like it's something that's in me, and I'm even happier being able to give it to like present it to an audience that actually like you know what I mean enjoys poetry.
Right. I agree. I love it. So I did hear you say you recently just got into poetry. So the open mic that you did, that what year was it?
That was in 2011. It's been
2011.
it's yes.
Okay. Well, that's not recent, but
But yeah, it's
so going
20.
back to that moment, I wanted to ask, how has the art of poetry impacted your life?
I would say it has impacted my life in many ways. The way I look at life to me is kind of a poetic view. From whether it's music, just life in general. To me, everything in it's poetry in motion. It's how you classify it. It's how you. It's like being able to express yourself with more than just words. Because to me, you soak in so much in this experience we call life that if I don't know, like with me, I just feel like deep down, it's just something that just resonates with me fully. And everything to me is in some way is a poem, whether it's and to me, it's also how you look at it. Like, but I think I answered that right. Sorry.
I think I answered that right. And that's interesting you should say that, because is there really a right or wrong when it comes to poetry? When people ask me, or when people say I don't know how to write poetry, and then you try to explain to them that they can, like, is there really a right or a wrong way to write poetry?
I mean, I don't believe so because it has so many formats and stanzas and so many ways to write a piece. But to me, it's all about how you approach it. To me, you don't have to follow anybody's guidelines. I mean, to be honest, I don't. I'll be more than happy to recite a poem for you if you like, but I don't really think about, oh, I need this many sentences. I gotta I don't know. I just let it come to me, and what comes, I mean, I don't know if it's my right to call it poetry, but that's what it feels to me. So that's what I label it as. So to me, it's all about the feeling it and how you want to present it. I mean, if it comes out that way and you want to call it poetry, then why not? Because a lot of people listen to music and don't believe that's poetry. I mean, but to me, it's so much poetry in music, every lyric. So
Exactly. I can definitely agree with that. So moving forward, what have been some highlights of your poetry career?
the biggest highlight right now was publishing my book. Even though I self-published, I don't discredit anyone. I feel like a lot of people in my life had influence for this, but publishing my book was one of the greatest things to me because I have a physical representation of what I've been mentally thinking, and
Oh,
it's like a weight off my shoulders being able to know that this is not going to die inside me, even if what I'm saying, however many years from now people pick it up, somebody's going to be able to read something I wrote
right.
and acknowledge it. And to me, that means everything because I do not, I really mean when I say it felt like it was dying inside me, like I'm waking up like, okay, how can I get this to people? How can I how can I manifest this to reality so people can see what I'm about for as a poet. And the reason is my poetry book was so important because I wanted, as titled The Rebellion of a Renaissance Man, I wanted to give people a renewed interest in poetry, especially my poetry. People don't know about me, you know what I mean? So I just to be able to share something that I really feel that's close to my heart. And that's, to me, that was the biggest highlight, being able to publish my first book.
Okay. And when did you publish it? And could you repeat the name for us one more time?
It's called The Rebellion of a Renaissance Man, and I published it in 2018.
2018. All right, awesome. How many poems do you have
in the book?
Yes.
I would say more. I would say 40 plus, right at 40, or like I think between 40 and 45. I didn't put as many as I could in there, but each chapter has like 10 plus poems. The last chapter maybe 4 or 5, but I believe it's about 40 poems in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. So did you specifically, so in the writing process of your book, because I'm sure it has a certain theme to your book. So did you sit down and write these poems specifically to go in the book, or did you just gather old stuff and put it in one book?
I definitely gathered a lot and then categorized it into like chapters that fit each other and would just roll off and complement each other well. That was my whole process in thinking this. But it is a collective work streaming from 2011, maybe before, you know what I'm saying, a little before then, on up until 2018, to where I was revising and just doing a lot of editing and things myself. But yeah, I would definitely say it's been a collective of poems that I did when I was younger.
Okay. I like that. I think writing, because I wrote my poetry book, 17 Mirrors, published it in 2019. And I pulled old things, but I also created new pieces too, so that it would have like a central focus, but it's broken down by sections as well. So that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Now you did say you perform, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to go like really tap into the space of performance, because I don't think people realize like poetry, so much can happen with poetry. Again, you can use poetry as a coping mechanism. You could perform poetry, just on a competitive level, and you could just recite poetry just because that's what you love to do. But when it comes to performing, again, we all go on stage for different purposes. Some people just want to feel fulfilled. Some people just want to purge. So my question to you is, where do you go? And you can take this however you see fit. Where do you go when you perform?
Excuse me. That is a very good question. If I'm performing in front of a crowd, to me, I'm gonna go either way, whether it's myself or in front of a crowd or family members. I'm gonna go within, because that's where it originated from. And when I say in, I mean I want to feel the moment. I want to exist in the moment, in the now, and I want to share what I come up with. And another place I go mentally is just a place where even if someone doesn't like it, it's fine. I'm open to criticism in any type of way that's gonna benefit me as an artist, because I don't know it all. I'm not by no means am I perfect, but to me the perfect is maturity. So I want to mature into the best poet I can be. And to have anything far as like sharpening your skills, you have to be pushed, you have to be questioned. And performing to me is just it could be a safe place, because I'm sharing my I really feel that's vital to me. And even if it's not on a serious level, you know what I mean, it's something that I want to share and get an opinion on, because I believe it can move someone. Even my poetry might not be for me. Maybe it's for the next person that can't speak like me, or don't have the perspective that I have, or can't communicate through paper or through pen, translating your thoughts into paper, or just putting it on wax. Like I would say I definitely go within and cherish everything about it, because to me poetry is so it's a movement. It moves you. I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely get where you're going though. I always like to ask questions like that too, because poets are deep. I feel like they're just deep all the time and will make like the smallest thing mean something so much more than what it is. So I always like to ask questions like that. Where do you go when you perform? Because you get a chance to answer it how you see fit. So I always like to see what direction people go in. Like, do you go to a physical space? Do you transform? Do you turn into your alter ego? So that was a great answer, going within, because again, that poetry comes from within you. So it only makes sense when you go on stage that you tap into that space too, because it helps people resonate with you. And I know you said to you, it doesn't matter if people like your work or not, and you're open to criticism, but I feel like you can't criticize poetry unless you're doing slam poetry, and then people have their opinions for real. But you know, when you're giving something from your heart, like what else can you tell me about this? So I like that you shared that, because with poetry, I believe, again, like I said, our stories are not for us to keep to ourselves. And also we have to realize when you do go out and you perform and you start to realize that you're using your poetry to help somebody else, you have to remember that it won't be meant for everybody, and that's okay. I had this
Yes.
motto when I was younger: if I don't touch all, I'll touch one. If I touch none, then my mission is undone. So your goal is to give what you had to give, and whoever's supposed to receive it, they absolutely will. And if it's just one person, that's more than enough. So
Yes. I totally agree. As long as I've touched one person, I feel like I've done my job, because that's one person that can relate to me in some type of way and may feel better about their situation.
exactly. And then that same feeling can be multiplied. Like it can be trickled down. Like you may, you know, spark something in somebody else that's going to cause them to pass that same message down that you probably won't ever realize or recognize. Like right now, you probably don't even know how your words have impacted people and how it's trickled down. You know, so that's the powerful thing about poetry too. You don't know. You don't know how far your message has even spread.
I
So,
agree.
so my next question is, how important do you think it is to have arts in education?
To me, art and education should be just as serious as math, reading, science, because it helps. I'm gonna speak for me. Creativity wise, and being able to imagine and express. I feel like art is the ultimate form of expression. Like I can form a creative way to communicate to anybody, and to me that's vital for kids. I mean, them being able to draw, write, just any type of art, I feel like is vital for their mind being working in creative ways, imaginative ways, pursuing things that they might have not have linked to art, to things that they love. You know what I mean? And I really do. Well, sorry, I really do believe it's vital, because
Mm-hmm.
what what other ways do we get to express ourselves in school outside of the routine of do your work? I don't know, it's take tests. I feel like kids need that, especially in this generation where they're going through a whole global pandemic. And I don't know,
Right.
I believe it's vital for us as a people to be able to express ourselves in many ways. And to me, art is one of the most beautiful ways to express yourself.
I agree. I definitely agree, because kids need space to be able to express themselves and to know how to deal with their emotions and articulate it. I think there's a lot of people now who don't even know how to articulate what they're feeling, and that's a skill that you really need to be able to navigate life.
Especially in communication.
Yes, exactly. So I will ask you about like how the pandemic has had an impact on your poetry. And before you answer that, I just want to go back to live right here. So to everybody that's still tuned in, thank you. You are watching Art on Arkansas, and we are interviewing Orlando Kendrick for Poetry Month. And If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down in the comment section and I will read them. And do us a favor, do somebody else a favor and share this video, because you never know what gems may be dropped that will affect somebody's life, help improve it, or even save it. So please take this moment, if you are viewing this video right now, to push that share button. Just share it, help somebody, help yourself. And thank y'all for tuning in again. But Orlando, how has this pandemic influenced your poetry?
I honestly feel like this pandemic is kind of like made me, like kind of feel like the anxiety of wanting to write and being inspired. I don't need something to be inspired by. I feel like it literally sometimes come from within. Like I can just come up with something to write. But this pandemic to me is kind of dim my light on poetry, because it's like, I don't know, it's been so many new things to get used to, and it's been a whole new way to adapt to life. And to me, sometimes that can be draining. And but so much goes on in the world. I'm constantly inspired. I'm constantly inspired to talk about the times, be in the moment, because I feel like a poet is supposed to reflect the times, not just upon the times upon themselves, but the times upon the world. And to me, this is a perfect time to cherish my poetry. So the light is not dimmed anymore due to the fact that I had a kind of awakening. I can't let something that's happening all over the world with everybody in existence right now dim my light and what I love. I love writing. I love poetry. So I took an initiative to believe in myself more. So this pandemic, I believe, has helped me believe in myself more, because I know that regardless of what's going on around me, I have a job or obligation to myself to be the best form of me. And how can I be the best form of me if I'm not pushing what I truly love? And that's to write. That's to create poetry that I feel like is going to be vital to maybe not just my ears, but someone that could possibly read it and interpret it how they should and feel good about it.
Yes. Oh, dang. I really love it. I really love that. Because I think that's important too. Like when people are listening to you and they read your poetry, like they're looking for themselves in it. So I always like to see how, my words, I could have meant for it to mean something totally different than what somebody else took from it. But it's always beautiful because it's helped them in a way. So to be able to intend for something to be one thing, but it spirals into something else, like even bigger, that's a powerful skill to be able to have.
I agree.
Even in this pandemic, I think last year was really, really crazy. And poetry, a lot of times, is dark. It's inspired by hurt places and it's meant to like help you purge. So last year, the world experienced a lot, like not only with the pandemic and being forced to stay in the house and isolate, and with so many people passing away from COVID-19, but also there was the big thing with George Floyd that really highlighted what's going on when it comes to like police brutality. So I think last year was focused on a lot of pain and heartbreak. So in addition to like the pandemic, but what went on with the protests and the police brutality, do you feel like that influenced your writing at all? Is that something you touched on or used your poetry to talk about?
Yes, I just dropped a poem titled T3 for short, but it's called Trap Trials and Tribulations. And the long extended title is Trap Trials and Tribulations of African Americans in America. That had a huge part in that poem because you are right. The depths of which poetry is, I want to say, I guess well, that's probably not the word. Sorry. The depths of which poetry is, where it grows within most, is deep. And sometimes the scars don't show up on the surface, they show up within, and you can't, those aren't the ones that people talk about. Mental health is so vital, especially in our community, the Black and brown community, because we see so many cases of us not being valued. And to me, all life should be valued. I want to be human rather than a person of color. I want to embrace my spirituality as well as me being human, but sometimes it's hard to just worry about that concept and go within when everybody wants to point on the without. So I find that fascinating because that had a huge part in me wanting to be more vocal when it comes to poetry. I can't stand by and watch my brothers and sisters be slaughtered and murdered in the streets and not feel some type of way. We are so easily traumatized and without even knowing it just by scrolling up on social media. A scroll can introduce you to some trauma. Meanwhile, someone can see an animal hurt and go through some form of torture or just torment and feel a totally traumatic experience. But I'm supposed to hold my head high when I see people that resemble me shot down and killed. And to me, and I wouldn't be a poet if I couldn't talk about that. To me, and I'm not saying it's a requirement, but a poet that always stood out to me is Langston Hughes' ability to talk about the times. And to drop his name is another reason my book is titled The Rebellion of a Renaissance Man, because he was a part of the Harlem Renaissance. And I felt like he did a perfect, if not very great job in just being able to reflect the times and talk about what is going on then. So it's to me, if I want to be mentioned ever in the same breath, even if I don't have to be, but if I am ever to be mentioned in the same breath as Langston Hughes, I want to be able to talk about the times. And you've touched George Floyd, and countless more of our brothers and sisters have been taken away from us too soon. And I feel like it's our job as a poet to reflect those times and talk about it and to also embrace it. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's hard scrolling on social media, even with the verdict. Like, yeah, that's a little piece of justice, but what about all the so many names that go untold with no cameras? So I feel like it is a very important job for us as writers to be able to reflect that, because if we don't talk about it, the history is not going to be mentioned.
Wow, that's powerful. So, and thank you for sharing it. I'm going to read some comments from Facebook. So,
Okay.
Hey, Alexa. Alexa said that's where a lot of my students get stuck with poetry. They think it fits a box. Okay, I think that was in regards to when we talked about is poetry right? Is there a right or wrong to poetry? Matt Jordan. Hey, Matt Jordan and Tim. Chris, Matt Jordan said, how are you using technology, digital media to get younger generations interested in poetry?
I know people are so into social media. So what I've been trying to do is have my platform in which I speak about my poetry and present my poetry on all platforms. You know, people attention spans are these days. Like, if it ain't about nothing, they don't really want to hear about it. So I've tried to keep it short, quick, and simple to some of the poetry that I do and have it accessible, like with my physical copy. Also, you can get it on the Kindle app, but I'm working on an audio book so people can be able to just listen and absorb. But mainly, you know, people are into YouTube, so I try to always share stuff on my page on YouTube, because people are literally a click away from just finding out who you are in life as a person. So I feel like it's vital to our success by being able to present it on all platforms people use these days.
Yes, and that really helps go into this next question. Chris said, everyone's poetry provides a window into their authentic self to share that self with others. Do you feel language to be a sufficient means of delivering your message and concerns? Do you ever find the written word to be less than sufficient in describing your experiences? Wow.
I would say no, because I wouldn't belittle anything that I come up with, even if it's not something that I just truly fall in love with from jump. I can't belittle anything that might help the next. Everything should be cherished, in my opinion, because if you value your work, you won't have to worry about other people's validation. And I'm all about other people's approval, but as long as it matters to me, I feel like that's the start, and that can ignite the next person's beliefs.
Yes, thank you. And everybody that's still tuned in, thank y'all for staying tuned in with us. We appreciate it. Yes, now, Orlando, to the fun part. All right, top 5 favorite poets, local or celebrity, whichever one.
Okay, you dropping the top 5 on me?
Top 5.
Off the rip, I have to say Tupac, because again, I didn't have the luxury to have a male role model most of my life, so I kind of took for outside entities. Outside of my mom, she did a marvelous job in raising me. I really appreciate that, and everything my dad has done outside of his incarceration has been beautiful. But Tupac is going to have to top that list due to the fact that everything for what is his poetry, his music. To me, he was one of our greatest poets that was taken too fast. So I'm gonna say Tupac. I'm gonna say Langston Hughes. I'm gonna say James Baldwin, just because his ability to captivate his audience, like just if you watch some of his work, his ability to stand in the middle of like hundreds of people and still give them everything and more of him, I feel like is admirable. And next, I like Amanda Gordon, I believe is her name. The poem she read during the inauguration had me like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, rumble, black woman, rumble. And I just, who would be last? I think that was 4.
Yeah.
Who would my last poet be? I would have to give it, again, I know it probably sounds like a broken record to talk about an artist, but to me, Drake writes some of the dopest poetry that you don't even think about. I know I dropped the Drake bomb, but
Drake.
music, when it comes to music, just listening to lyrics, he is one of the artists that I look forward to, just whether it's singing, rapping, or whatever. I look forward to hearing his message through the song, because regardless of who you listen to, it's always a message through the song. And I feel like Drake just connects with me in so many levels when it comes to music. So I would definitely have to put Drake up there.
Okay. So you gave me all celebrities. Now, this is outside of that. Do you have any favorite, or are there any poets that you like that are here locally in Arkansas?
Of course, you're on that list because I've had the opportunity to tune into your page and
Yay.
your work. I feel like you have a very strong voice in communicating what you're feeling, whether it's past moments or future moments. Like I feel like you did a marvelous job in just being able to present yourself and give all of you, regardless of what's going on. And I think that's very good for someone that comes from my state. Outside of that,
Thank you.
I have I believe his name is Curtis James. I have his novels in my library. I think that's it. I believe is it Curtis? Is it Curtis James? I believe it's Curtis. I think his name is Curtis James. I hope I'm saying that right, for our audience. But outside of that, I haven't had the opportunity to just really be on the poetry scene, and I don't take pride in that. I'm kind of ashamed, but I do look to future experience with Arkansas poets.
Okay, definitely. I definitely have to keep you in the loop. I think the pandemic has really like kind of set people back, but we have a lot of great poets here, and just hopefully we'll be able to like just rebuild that community after this pandemic, because I know a lot of people have some fire pieces that they want to share right now. So I just can't wait to, be able to have an open mic in person and bring all the greats together. So well, actually, I wanted to see if you would share a piece with us.
Okay. I think I can do that. I think I got something cooking.
To everybody that's out there, I know he can't really hear y'all, but I can see your comments. So if you hear something you like, it's okay to snap. You can put like snaps in the comment section. You can put comments in the comment section, and I'll definitely read it afterwards. But as poets, performing poets anyway, we love feedback. So as he performs this poem, send him some snaps. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to feel it in his spirit, because I think he's tuned in with himself. So y'all can snap. Again, you can comment in the comments of this live video, but we will have a poetry recitation from Mr. Orlando Kendricks.
Okay, I feel like it's only right that I read a poem that kind of got me started, and it's the first poem in my book, The Rebellion of a Renaissance Man. Remember, I told you it was an open mic night at UAPB, and I was just like, okay, this is something I probably should be doing. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's titled "Thou Had Thee at a Loss for Words."
Mm.
Simply perfection in every direction, with the sexiest complexion. Beauty nothing less than heaven sent. Breathtaking at first glimpse, so I came in speechless. How do I approach thee after such an experience? Because, darling, every part of thee is blown away just by your presence. So, no, it will always be a gift. Truth shall always cross thy lips. Better translated, as your trust is important to thee. No complications, no worries. It's all we. Believe thou gorgeous, have faith in thee. Thou had thee at a loss for words.
Oh, I like it. Snap, snap, snap. I'm sending you snaps. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing it. I appreciate it. Thou had thee at a loss of
For
words.
words.
For words. Okay, yeah. So I might write a poem like that. So I mean, if you hear me bite bits and pieces from what you said, don't even worry about it. Maybe I'll
It's
shout you out. I don't
fine.
know.
Love to inspire.
Yeah, thank you. And your video just went off.
Sorry,
Or
somebody
no,
was trying.
okay,
Why?
we're back. Okay. Now, my last question that I have is, what advice would you give any upcoming poets?
The advice I would give to upcoming poets, first and foremost, is be you. It's something about you that can't no one else express. You are an individual expression of the one true creator. So I know we all look the same, we have similarities, but every single person to me is special because it's something you came to this dimension to radiate, to give. And I feel like embracing you is the first thing on your mission, because once you embrace you, everyone else is going to radiate toward that. Because if you love you, embrace you, and you are for you, nothing is going to stand in your way. Everything's going to radiate towards you as it should. So I would most definitely, I'm sorry, I'm back. Sorry. I would most definitely say be yourself and embrace you, because if you can do that, creating art for you, for anyone, is going to be easy. And I also don't minimize small beginnings. Never minimize small beginnings.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate that. This has been good, definitely. So everybody that's still tuned in, again, thank you for tuning in and watching with us. Orlando, I just want to say I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to your poetry career growing. I need everybody to make sure you go follow him, check out his book, and just support him. So again, if you are tuned in or you tuned in late, this video will be posted, so you'll be able to go back and watch the full thing. But if you're here, go ahead and share this video, because you never know who you could help just by simply sharing a video. All right. So thank you again for tuning in to Art on Arkansas. This has been great. Have a good, nice, wholesome day.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yay.